This is Brad A. Milford with the Unlimited Business Wisdom Podcast, where business owners making mid 5 figures, 6 figures, 7 figures, 8 figures, who cares? They're making stuff and delivering value, and they're sharing wisdom. It's 6 questions in 9 minutes because transforming possibility leads to reality. So let's get to it. Question number 1. Tell me who you are and what you do.
Hey, what's up, Brad? Thanks for having me on your show. I appreciate it. My name is Dave Gambrill, and what I help people do is unleash their awesome through the power of digital marketing and getting it out to the world. Because what I know is we all have skills, talents, and abilities that we aren't using to their fullest potential. And I know sometimes if I can give them the right megaphone, usually through some kind of audience like this, maybe a podcast, or maybe you're watching on YouTube or Facebook or whatever, there's lots of ways to get your mission and your message out to the world. And that's what I help people do.
Absolutely, mad respect. You've helped me a ton in that space, and I have a tremendous amount of respect for you. So thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Question number 2. Dave, what's the best thing about being in business?
For me, the best thing about being in business is I can actually do the stuff that I want to do in the world. I can impact people, but I can do it without the bureaucracy. So yeah, I might have been able to do that in some of the other corporate roles that I had, but there was always so much red tape and so many checking the boxes and covering your backside and all this other jazz that you spend a disproportionate amount of time doing that and not actually serving your people and your audience. So for me, the lead time, I guess I would call it, between actually helping somebody and then having them see success is like very short. So you can help people and I share information with them and we get them going. And then, you know, they implement in the next day or two, they're getting back to me saying, hey, this is working or this is not working. We need to tweak it. And so the feedback is much faster too. I've been involved in some things where the sales cycle or the implementation cycle was like years. And it just, that just wore me down. But now it's like, hey, I could tell somebody something, we have a strategy call, coaching call, whatever, they go and do it. And then they're like, yeah, this is working. This is great. And knowing that the way that I help people is helping those people help other people. And that's what you do too. And so through the ripple effect of that, I think that's awesome because I know I'm not just impacting that one person, but I'm helping them impact hundreds, if not thousands or millions of lives.
Love it. I'm glad you threw the millions thing out there.
Yeah.
The ripple effect is so powerful. I absolutely love it. And I love the fact that you brought up the sales cycle too, because there's so many of them. And I hear so little talk about the sales cycles. There's small sales cycles and there's instant and there's, you know, longer transformation. So love to hear you say that as well. Thanks, Dave.
Yeah.
Question number 3. We hear from business owners, so other business owners, that they're getting, and even during this time, and I'd love your opinion on this because for some of us, especially during this unprecedented time, they're getting so much business that the chaos is causing overwhelm. Tell me your thoughts on that, Dave.
Yeah, I mean, anytime that you have too much business, that's a great problem to have. If I had to have a problem, that's the one I want to have. And actually, I do have that problem too, because a lot of my stuff is online. And so people have been banging down my door to get at me. And I've actually felt some of that overwhelm. But I think one of the things you could do is start figuring out how fast can you remove yourself from the systems and the processes and the frameworks and the automation and the outsourcing so that you can essentially, like in my case, just be the quote on-air talent, or like, how can you just be the person that is doing the thing that only you could do? And then how can you get all of these other things set up in automations or systems or frameworks? And it doesn't need to be expensive. You can outsource stuff through all kinds of different channels, through virtual assistants in the Philippines for like $10 an hour or whatever, $5 an hour, $3 an hour. You can do project-based stuff through Fiverr, things like that. So I think as this stuff comes, that's a great challenge to have, like too much business. I mean, come on. But as that comes, I think it's a great opportunity for you to take a step back and stop working in your business for a few minutes and spend a little time working on your business. And then you can see what you can automate and outsource or whatever.
Love it. 100% with you. I hear a little bit of Michael Gerber in there somewhere.
Yeah, it's a great book. I've read it many times. Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love it. Question number 4. What other successful business owners like yourself, Dave, should be on the Unlimited Wisdom podcast?
Well, I think anybody that has a mission and a message that they want to get out to the world, I mean, anytime someone's going to give you a microphone and let you get it out there, I don't know why you wouldn't do that. And I think there are people that you can help other people reach and connect that they wouldn't be able to do on their own. And so when you reach out to me to get on this, like the first thing I thought of was yes. You say, hey, you want to get on this podcast? I'm like, yes. then I just have to figure out how to make it work. So there's some things in my business I say no to automatically, and you have to convince me whether or not to do it. And there's other things like, you're going to help me get my message out to the world, then yes, we're going to figure out how to make that happen. So I think anybody that wants to do that, anybody that's got a mission, even if they don't think their idea or their concept or their message or their mission is fully baked, I would still get on and be able to share your thoughts and ideas with the world, because I'm sure after I'm on this episode today and it gets published, there's going to be people I've never heard of before. They're going to reach out to me and say, hey, have you thought about this? Or I'd like to work with you, or can you do that? So yeah, I mean, I think anytime you can get on a podcast or anybody's going to give you an opportunity to get your message out to the world, I don't know why you would say no to that.
I love it. What a fantastic perspective. And I want to share this with you. So you took a slightly different perspective than most people, tossing out names, but it's all about serving people. And that's what this is about, is showcasing people's talents and strengths. So yeah. I appreciate the perspective that you took on that. And it's such an important point. Thank you so much, Dave.
Yep.
Question number 5, let's get to the wisdom. What would you share with other business owners, Dave?
Yeah, I think people that know me would be disappointed if I didn't say build your email list. Build your email list. Build your audience. Build your following. Build whatever that is. But I honestly think with every fiber of my being that it needs to be on your email list. You can go do TikTok and Instagram and LinkedIn and YouTube and whatever else, Facebook, whatever it is you want to do. But at the end of the day, those people are making the decisions. And if that's where you're going to build your business, it's like building your business on a volcano. It might be great for years, but then all of a sudden, Zuckerberg wakes up, or the folks over TikTok wake up, and they decide you can't do this anymore. You shouldn't be doing this anymore. And you lose your audience, and therefore you lose your business. So, and I've seen it actually a lot happen on Instagram in particular. So one of the things I always recommend people to do is build your list, build your audience, and so have calls to action to all those platforms, if you're on them, to have people get on your email list, things like that. And I would say, and encourage people to go look at a blog post by a guy named Kevin Kelly. It's called 1,000 True Fans. And the idea behind that blog post is simply this. Can you find, out of the 7.5 billion people on the planet, can you find 1,000 people who would invest at least $100 a year in you and your services? If so, you have a 6-figure business. Now, some of people listening are like, well, I need a 7-figure business. Okay, fine. Change the math. Find 1,000 people that'll do $1,000, whatever you need to do. But let's keep it that simple. And I think what people run into a lot is they talk to their neighbors, they talk to their friends, they talk to their family about their idea, about their business, and nobody gets it. And so they shoot them down, and then they're like, well, this is not going to work. Listen, y'all, there's 7.5 billion other people in the world, right? When you start monetizing your message and getting your stuff online, getting it out to the world, other people are going to hear it. And I think one of the challenges people get as they're trying to build their audience, build their email list, things like that, is they're asking blind people to proofread their vision. And so, of course, when you ask people that can't see the things that you see and feel the things that you feel and understand the things that you understand to your core, of course, they're not going to get it. And so, again, when you get out of your little circle of influence that you currently have and start sharing your message online, get it out to the world, more and more people will see it. Then you'll get opportunities to go on podcasts and things like that. So I talk about this stuff all the time over in my Facebook group. It's called Digital Marketing Mentorship with Dave Gambrill. And I'm sure you could see, if you're watching, the logo over my shoulder there. And we talk about this stuff all the time. We talk about the psychology of it. So I talk about the mindset, the skill set, and the tool set, and how to get that stuff out to the world. So I would tell people building your email list, building your audience is more important than building your product or your service, because lots of people are doing it backwards. They're like, I have this idea for a course or whatever, a product, a service. They create it, and then they put it out to the world, and nobody wants to buy it because they didn't get the people in their audience. They didn't get feedback. They didn't send out a survey or a quiz funnel or whatever. There's all these things you could be doing to get feedback while you're iterating. And so, yeah, build your email list, build your audience. I think that's going to be my tombstone, actually, because I'm going to go to my grave with that one. I've seen it too many times where people, super successful people, it's all because of their email list, and they've weathered all kinds of storms, all kinds of ups and downs in the economy, all kinds of stuff, because they have an email list and they can communicate with them. It doesn't matter if you're just doing online stuff. If you're a pizza shop, if you do power washing, if you're a financial advisor, if you can communicate with your audience through email, then your business is probably doing a lot better than people that can't do that right now.
I've been following you for a while. We've been connected for quite a while, and I am not shocked at all to hear you deliver this message. Build your email list, people. Build your list. So
Right.
I thank you so much for sharing that. People need to hear it. That is something I know that you could say every day, and it still would not be enough. So thank you very
That's right.
much for that
You're welcome.
value and for serving the way you do. Question
You're
number
welcome.
6. Let's shift gears for a little moment and just talk about something fun. What's the most fun vacation you ever had?
I think the most fun vacation I ever had is actually when I was younger. So I didn't have adult responsibilities, but my parents used to rent these giant houses with a lot of our extended family and their friends in the Outer Banks of North Carolina. So they would literally be like 20-bedroom houses right on the beach with like a movie theater and everything else. And it was just a lot of fun to hang out with those people in an environment like that. And I love the beach. So anytime we had the opportunity to do that, that's what I loved. I miss those days. And now that my own kids are getting older and they have college and work responsibilities and everything else, it's a lot harder for us to pin down opportunities for all of us to do that. So those are my favorite vacations.
Love it. And Outer Banks. Ooh, I love that place.
Yeah.
One of the only places in the world you can find like a lone stretch of beach just all for yourself. I love the Outer Banks. It's great.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for being on, Dave. I really appreciate you. What's the website so when people see this, they can find you, or social media, or what's the best way to reach out to you?
I think the best way to reach me, since you're listening to a podcast, is go check out my own podcast. It's called Unleash the Awesome. You can go to gambrill.com/podcast and find that. And if you want to find my digital marketing mentorship group, you can also go to gambrill.com/DMM for digital marketing mentorship. You'll be able to find me there.
Love it. This is Brad A. Milford with the Unlimited Business Wisdom Podcast, where owners making 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, who cares, making tons of money, share their wisdom globally to create impact. Thanks for joining us.